60 seconds. Just 60 seconds to understand this DSA question.
Let's first understand the question. We are given an array and a target value. All we have to do is return the number of subarrays where this target value is the majority element. So this is a subarray example. So over here, we can see that the target value 2 appears more than the size of the subarray divided by 2. So 2 is greater than 1. We can see that this is a valid subarray. We have to return the total number of such valid subarrays. So this is an example array and this is an example target value. So we are solving this problem using two-pointer approach. So at first I and j are at the same index and the counter is at 0 and the total counter is also at 0. Every time we take ahead the ith index, the counter is initialized back to 0. And if the jth element is equal to the target value, we increment the counter. So I and j are at the 0th index. The counter is at 0. The size of the subarray is 1 and we divide it by 2. Is 0 greater than 0? It is not. So there's no action. We take ahead the jth index. Now the counter is 1 as the jth element is the target value. Is counter greater than size of the subarray divided by 2? 1 is greater than 1, it is not, so there's no action. J is at 2 again, so we increment the counter. Now we check if the counter is greater than size of the subarray divided by 2. So 2 is greater than 1, so we increment the total variable. Let's take the jth element ahead. Now the counter is still at 2, the subarray of the size is 4, 4 divided by 2, so 2 is greater than 2. It is not, so there's no action. We take ahead the ith element, so the counter is initialized back to 0. The jth element is equal to target, so increment the counter. Is 1 greater than size of the subarray divided by 2? It is, so we increment the counter. Let's take ahead the jth element. The counter gets incremented. Is 2 greater than the subarray of the size divided by 2? So we increment the total. Let's take the jth element ahead. The counter is still at 2. The subarray of the size is 3. Now we see if 2 is greater than 1. It is, so we increment the counter to 4. Let's take the ith element ahead. Initialize the counter back to 0. The jth element is equal to target value, so we increment the counter by 1. So counter is greater than the size of the subarray 1 divided by 2. So 1 is greater than 0. It is, so we increment the counter by 1. Let's take the jth element ahead. The counter is still 1. Now the size of the subarray is 2. Is 1 greater than 1? It is not, so there's no action. We are at the end of the array. 5 is our total value and so is our answer. I hope you have understood the approach. Thank you.